Hello, everybody. I'm Kyle Kramer, the CEO of the Earth and Spirit Center, coming to you live from my little writing cabin back behind my house where I'm snowed in right now. But I am thrilled to be on the line with you, Ann Borders. Hello.
Hi, Kyle.
So, we are going to talk about an amazing new course that you've developed for the Earth and Spirit Center called Contemplative Practices Exploring Pathways to Presence. Love that title and that subtitle. I can't wait to dig into this with you. But before we do, I'd love to hear just a little bit about Ann Borders. You've taught for us for a bit now, and you're teaching more and more, and we're thrilled at that. For those who have not met you yet on video or in person, who's Ann Borders?
Oh,
How did you
hi.
come to How did you come to mindfulness
Hi.
and to mindfulness teaching?
Well, I'm super excited to be teaching more for the Earth and Spirit Center. My connection to the Earth and Spirit Center goes back to probably around 2014. I think we figured out around there, 15, taking all of the classes with Father Joe. I personally came to, the yoga practice in the late 90s through hot yoga, and then eventually did my yoga teacher training in 2013. I'm now, um, you know, 10 plus years teaching hot, 10 plus years of teaching traditional yoga and other modalities. So I'm um, classified as an ERYT 500, which simply means that I have over 500 or really thousands of hours of experience teaching um, yoga and the related philosophies and so forth. So I've been doing that for quite some time. I really felt the need to dive into the more philosophical practices. And so I was, tickled to find meditation with Father Joe in the mid, 2015-ish area. And I took all those classes and just really have felt called to teach more meditation, more meditative practices. I still teach yoga and I still love to teach yoga. But I also find that the practices that turn up in yoga were so aligned with all of the teachings of mindfulness meditation that I really found myself wanting to marry them and share them in different ways. So,
Right. Well, and one thing I will always remember having learned from you, Ann, was that yoga is not just um, a practice that helps you look good in spandex and whatever else, but that it's actually a means to the end of being
yeah.
able to have kind of a stable foundation for a contemplative meditative practice. Did I learn that right from you?
You did.
Okay.
So yoga is sometimes referred to as the eight-limbed path. So asana, which is the yoga movements, which most people think of as yoga, is one of eight limbs. And so the other limbs are things like observances, the way that we live, their one-pointedness, which is meditation essentially. So these other practices, breath work and, you know, one-pointedness, eventually leading to liberation, samadhi, peace, whatever you would like to call it, inner peace. That's the initiation point for yoga. So yoga is designed essentially um, the yoga movements are designed to help you sit in meditation so that you can
Right.
ultimately become liberated. Yeah, so a lot of folks, you know, understandably in the Western world assume that yoga is simply movement, but in fact, it aligns really closely with mindfulness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's walk through that door of contemplative practice, I mean, yoga as an invitation to contemplative practice, because as you've just described, yoga is one pathway there, but there are many. And what I understand in this course, contemplative practices, you're going to introduce novices or those with some experience to a variety of contemplative practices. So can you maybe talk a little bit about what you hope to share in this course and what how folks may benefit from it,
Yeah.
especially like if they're new or if they already have some kind of experience under their belt?
Yeah, absolutely. My hope is to marry, and my hope always is to marry accessibility with depth. So I hope that I can provide a deep experience, whether you're new or experienced, and um, but it's very accessible. And my hope is to introduce people or refresh people's memory around a toolbox of practices. So that's the way that I like to think of them. When I sit down, I'm not always in the same state of mind. So sitting
Mhm.
still some days will work great, other days not so much. So a simple example might be tratak, which is gazing. So candle gazing we might do, or yantra, which is looking at you know, it's essentially a drawing that has a dot in the center. So gazing at things. So we're gonna pick some contemplative practice, many of which come from the yogic tradition, but overlay with others like loving kindness, which comes from the Buddhist tradition, japa, which, or really beads, which could be rosary, or so many of these wisdom traditions are overlapping. None of them are disagreeing with one another. So there's sort of this emphasis on getting to the root of some practices that can uplift us, regardless of the tradition, or maybe even sort of leaning into how they cross the cultural boundaries.
Yeah, what occurs to me about your course as you describe it, Anne, is how closely it hews to just the molten core of the Earth and Spirit Center mission, insofar as we're an interfaith spirituality center, and we recognize that traditions are and should be different from one another. They have different histories, different contexts, different doctrine, dogma, etc. But they also have common connection points, and those tend to be along the avenues of like the contemplative or the mystical practice in that tradition, and of course the service tradition as well, like reaching out beyond yourself in love and compassion. So I just feel like what you're trying to do in this course, drawing from these various religious and spiritual traditions, is just fully aligned with the work that the Earth and Spirit Center wants to do, and how we want to invite folks into contemplative practice.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
thank you for
You're
that.
welcome. I'm excited. It's very, I should also say, it's very inspired, by Father Joe and his teachings. I always loved how he would share you know, the Vedanta, the Buddhist, the Christian. I always appreciated that. And in my head, I would sometimes think, the yogic version is this. And so I'm just hoping to kind of round it out and share those. And just I often get asked the question, um, is yoga in opposition to anything I believe? And the answer to that, just for folks who are wondering, who are new to that tradition, is yoga has no dogma. So it's not meant to replace anything. It's meant to uplift whatever you believe. So it's going to enhance whatever it is that you believe, not replace anything that you believe.
Amen.
Yeah,
Amen. Yes. Complementarity, not competition. I love it.
sure, sure.
All right. Well, so just the details of this. This is a 5-week course. It is going to be running on Friday afternoons from 1 to 2:30, beginning on February 14th, again for 5 sessions. So folks can learn more about this course at the link that accompanies this video at our website, earthandspiritcenter.org. Well, Anne, again, thank you for stepping up to teach this course so fully in the lineage of the Earth and Spirit Center teaching. We're thrilled and we're grateful, and we hope you get plenty of folks signing up.
Thanks so much, Kyle. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it.